Hello everyone, welcome to this yoga session. Just a usual thing, have your pillow, blanket and some water available. You don't need the strap in this session, but of course it's always handy to have that available just in case I change my mind. So before we start, let's make a little warm up with some coordination practice. So we're starting with two elements. One part is swinging the leg over the side as if you want to kick a ball to the side. Just, easily swinging the legs just from side to side. You can lift the legs higher if you like, and if that's okay for your lower back and your hip. Just see what works for you. Nicely dynamic swing. Kick the ball, kick the ball, kick the ball. And your upper body and your arms, they are just loose and going sort of with the swing. So that is one part. Slowly come to a still point again. And the other part is with your hands together in front of your chest. Lower arms parallel to the floor. And you're swinging to the left, swinging to the right. If you're getting a bit dizzy, just keep your head in the middle while you're swinging your arms this way, to the right, to the left. So you get a bit of a rotation for your upper body. And you can either integrate your head with it or keep your head still. I'm better with my head still because I'm getting dizzy. So just choose what variety works for you. So this is what we do with the arms. Just come to a still point, let your arms hang down. And now we integrate both of these. And this is a really great exercise to get yourself in a diagonal move. And it's also great to activate both of your hemispheres in the brain to connect. Because every time we're crossing the midline, we're connecting both hemispheres, which is great. Because one of the hemispheres is more for analytical thinking, the other is more for emotional thinking and acting. And if both comes together, we are great in functioning and what we're doing. And of course, a diagonal sort of stretch or mobilizing is always great to really loosen up the tissue and mobilizing the joints. Cool. Okay, so hands in front of your chest. And so when you kick the ball to the left, your hands go actually to the right, then back to center. And then when your left leg kicks to the right, your hands moving to the left. So you really have that sort of wrenching, but like you would wrench a cloth to get the water out of it. That's what you do with your body. So let's do it together. So when you're ready, kicking and swinging, either with your head still or with your head following your hands. And you always know that you got out of your rhythm when your hands and your feet are on the same side. And it always has to be the opposite side. Here we keep doing that a bit longer, just to give ourselves a nice warm up. A bit challenging for me talking and doing it at the same time. And if you're a bit fitter and you need a bit more, you can gently jump while you do that. That will get your heart rate up. Makes it a bit more like a little dance. Have a giggle if you like, just don't fall over, please. Right, a few more rounds. Nice for the shoulder girdle as well. It's really good warm up to prepare your body for this yoga session. And then slowly come to a still point. Release your hands. Let your arms drop down. Knees unlocked. And just connect with yourself. Feel your heartbeat. Feel the intensity of your breathing. And just give yourself a moment to let your heartbeat slow down again. Breathe in nicely and deeply through your nose. Slowly calming down. And then we're starting with some gentle stretches. So cross your legs. Just standing sideways. Cross your legs. Doesn't matter which one is in front because we're swapping sides anyway. Bend your knees a little bit and then gently folding forward. Let your arms hang down, but be very gentle. If you want to straighten your legs a bit more, feel free to do that. But always listen to what your body says where the boundaries are. You can let your arms hang down. Let your head hang down. You should feel the stretch in your legs, but no tension or discomfort in your back, please. If you're hanging down a bit more and you feel strain in your lower back, just lift yourself up a little bit more so that your lower back is a bit more straight. But if you can, let your head hang down, give your head a nice gentle shake and wobble to make sure your neck is letting go as well. And stay here just for a couple more breaths if you can. Again, if it's too far down, just come up a little bit more. And then come back slowly to a standing position. Uncross your legs. Shake your legs a little bit. Give yourself a moment to adjust. Give your system a moment to adjust the blood flow. And then when you're ready, you cross the legs the other way. And again, knees are slightly bent. And then when you're ready, gently folding forward, either until you reach the floor, depending on how long your arms are and how much you're straightening these legs, or put your hands just on one knee. Let your head hang down and breathe into this leg stretch. And slowly coming back up. Uncross the legs. Adjust yourself again. And then place your feet hip wide apart. Shift your weight onto the left leg, grab your right leg, hug the knee, and sort of pull that knee towards your belly or chest. Keep your spine nice and long so that you feel a nice stretch in the hamstrings and a bit of hip opening as well while you're balancing on your left leg. Now, keep it up. And then you grab your foot and you bring your foot towards your bottom. Your knee is pointing down, like your kneecap is pointing down onto the mat. And you should feel a nice stretch in the front of your thighs now. If you want a bit more, you can lift up that left leg to have a bit more of a diagonal stretch again. Just keep your knee pointing downwards. Get a nice stretch on the hip flexor on the right side as well. Belly button goes inwards to support your core, to maintain your balance. And then with your next exhale, you're slowly bending forward in that position. Looking down onto the mat, still holding your foot. Make sure you're not twisting your hip. And you're maintaining your balance. Take another deep breath in before you're slowly coming back into the standing. Lower your arm, release your foot. Put it back down onto the mat. And then just give yourself a moment and feel into that right leg and also into that left leg. Maybe you notice a difference. Maybe your right leg feels a bit warmer than the left one. And then just take a deep breath in and out, and then we're swapping sides. I'm just turning the other way around now. So you're shifting your weight onto your right leg. Bring that left knee up. Grab the knee and pull it towards you. Spine is nice and long. Maintain your balance, connect to your breath. And then with your next exhale, you bring that foot close to your bum. Your knees pointing downwards, still nice and upright. And again, option here, rise or lift your right arm towards the ceiling. Belly button goes inwards, nice and straight. Knees pointing down onto the mat. If you need a bit more, you can push that knee a little bit further back, but not bending forward at the same time. So you stay nice and tall. And if you need a bit more stretch, you just move that leg a little bit further backwards. Connect to your breath. And then you slowly folding forward, maintaining your balance, looking down onto the mat. Staying here for one more breath. And with your next exhale, you let go of that foot, you bring that arm back down, both feet back on the mat. And feel free to just shake out the legs. And take a deep breath in and out before we're heading into a little bit of shoulder stretch now. So for that one, you fold the hands behind your back. You're standing in an upright position, your knees slightly unlocked. And with every exhale, you gently pull these shoulders down. Belly button goes inwards. You're staying nice and tall. You're holding that stretch for a few breaths. Feel how your chest is opening up. Are you really stretching your chest area, especially when you're working at a desk all day? You always have this sort of round shoulder issue. This one is a really good one to open that space up. And if that's already enough stretching for your shoulders, that's fine. Just keep doing that for a few more breaths. And if you need a bit more, fold forward and lift these arms up towards the ceiling. That gives your shoulders a bit more of a stretch and a bit more opening. But just be gentle. You might just want to go half of the way. Or if you have very mobile shoulders, you probably can even go further than I can. Some people can. I can't. So just feel into your shoulders what works for you. Keep up the breathing. And then take another deep breath in. Bend your knees, bring your hands back down. And slowly coming back into a standing position, release the hands. And let your arms just hang down at the side of the body. Just make sure you're feeling all good. And then you gently lift up that left shoulder, pull down the, other way around. You lift up gently that right shoulder while at the same time you're sort of pulling down that left shoulder. Make sure your upper body stays straight, you're not leaning over, then letting go that right shoulder and let that left shoulder come back into neutral. And then we'll swap sides. So now you're gently lifting that left shoulder and you're pulling down that right shoulder. A bit like if somebody from the ground is pulling on your arm, on the right arm, so it really gets dragged down. And your head stays in the middle, so no tilting of the head. And all back to neutral. And again, lifting that right shoulder, dragging that left shoulder down. When your head stays nice and straight, your upper body is straight. It's just all in the shoulders. And back to neutral. And then again, left shoulder goes up, right shoulder goes down. Make sure your nose stays right in the middle, in alignment with your breastbone. No tilting, no bending, no funny arching of the neck. And back to neutral. And then just wobble your shoulders. Just nicely roll them gently a few times to the front, up, to the back. And we're doing that in a more dynamic way this time, just because we want to give the body a bit of something different after that holding and stretching. You're just mobilizing it. Shake up your leg, your arms. And then we bring the shoulder blades into the opposite direction as with our intense shoulder stretch. So we're folding the hands in front of us, straightening the arms, shoulders not here, but nicely down. And then keep your knees unlocked. And then imagine somebody grabbing your hands and pulling them away from you. So you can really feel the stretch around your shoulder blades. Belly button goes inwards, knees stay unlocked, spine is nice and long, no turtleneck. So even your neck stays straight. If you need to, just tilt your shin a little bit towards your chest. While you're really nicely and intensely breathing in and breathing out. Feel this shoulder blade stretch. I'm staying here for 2 more breaths. And then with your next exhale, you gently release these hands. Let the arms drop down and just feel into your shoulder blade area. It should feel nice and warm at the moment. Maybe you can feel the blood pulsating. It's often a very tense area as well. And just take a moment. Feel into your shoulders, into your chest. And then we continue by opening up our rib cage. So the right arm moves all the way up. Left arm just hangs down. And when you're ready, you're bending over to the left. No twisting of the upper body, no twisting of the hips. The hips still pointing forward. And you doing this side bending, opening up that right side of your rib cage. Left side is just nice and loose, hanging down. Keep your knees unlocked. And then breathe a few times, very intensely into that rib cage. Creating a lot of space. And with your next inhale, you come back into an upright position. Move your arms back down. And just take a little moment and compare the right side of your rib cage to the left side of your rib cage. Always a little bit funny, that feeling, because you feel like you just sort of have one side of your upper body, because the other one is not as present as it hasn't been stretched yet. Maybe you can feel that too, or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm a bit funny. That's all right. Cool. When you're ready, you move the left arm up. Keep your shoulder down while you do that. And then when you're ready, you're leaning over, you're bending over to the right side. Right shoulder just stays down. The arm is just sliding, or the hand is just sliding across the outer side of your leg. And you're leaning over to the right with your arm above your head. And you're deeply breathing into the left side of your rib cage now. And with your next inhale, you come back to standing. Release that arm down. And then just notice if you feel a bit more as a whole within your upper body now. Just take a few conscious breaths. And then we're spreading out our arms. And we're tilting our hands so that our fingers are pointing sort of towards the ceiling. It doesn't have to be 90 degrees in your wrists. Just get a feeling for how much of a stretch. You should feel the stretch on the lower arm from your wrist all the way down to your elbows. Maybe you can feel a bit of a stretch in the rest of the arms as well, on the upper arms, on the bottom side of your upper arms. Just depends. And we're heading on the tippy toes while we're holding these hands like this, and make sure your arms are on the same level, that not one is lower than the other. And back down onto your feet. Keep your shoulders down, on the tippy toes, and back down. On the tippy toes, and back down. Your arms are getting warm now, and just make sure you're not starting to pull your shoulders up. Just to keep these arms in that position and keep these hands in that position. While you're holding your arms, still sort of in a T position, on the tippy toes and back down. On the toes and back down. 2 more times. On the toes, back down. And on the toes, back down. And then relax your hands, lower your arms. And feel that relief. And just notice if you can feel that pulsation within your arms now. Maybe even all the way down from your shoulder into your fingertips. This is a really nice stretch for our wrists, but always, like always, be careful that you're not overdoing it. Depending if you have some issues with your wrist or if you have scars on your wrists or on the bottom of your hands, that can be quite challenging to get this stretch because the scar tissue is very rigid. Okay, we do that one more time, and now we do it the opposite side. So we're spreading out the hands, and now the fingers are pointing downwards. So you're stretching your wrists the other way. Make sure that you're not sort of pointing so that the fingers really pointing downwards, not more towards the back or towards the front. So you have a funny twist in your lower arm. So arms like a T, fingers pointing downwards, shoulders stay down, and again, on the tippy toes and down. While we're keeping our arms on the same level, fingers pointing down. We are concentrating on our breath and also on our little balance challenge while we're on the tippy toes. Now, keep holding your arms. Make sure you're not pulling your shoulders up because it gets a bit harder because the arms are getting heavier and warmer. And 2 more times. Keep the shoulders down. So with your next exhale, you come back onto your feet. You release the arms. Relax these hands. And just take a few deep breaths. Feel the warmth in your arms and hands. Wiggle your fingers if you like. You can move your wrists or you can move your hands to mobilize your wrists now gently. Just sort of pointing your fingers forwards and then let them point backwards. But like a swinging movement within your wrists where you're swinging your hands to the front and to the back. Shouldn't be any pain. If there is pain, make the movements just smaller and find your spot, how far it feels like a stretch, but it's not painful. Nice. Good one. And one more for the fingers. We're spreading out the fingers as far as we can. Just holding them in that spread out position. Make sure your shoulders stay down, your knees stay unlocked. Holding these fingers nicely spread out. And relaxing again. We do that 2 more times, spreading out the fingers, a bit like when we do that on the mat for downward facing dog or when we do plank pose, just to shift the weight a bit more evenly over the hands. Keep your fingers nicely spread out, the thumb as well. Hold it in that position. And relax. Yeah, feel free to wiggle your fingers in the meantime. And then we do it one more time. Spreading out the fingers and the thumb. It's a really nice stretch, nice finger opener. And then relax. Nice. Right, let's make our way slowly onto the mat. We're starting that with a bit of a hip opener. So we're rising up with the arms above our head. Make your step a little bit wider. And then with the exhale, you're coming through the middle, you're folding forward, and you're bending your knees more and more and more and more and more. So your bum ends up on your heels or just above your heels. Sorry, I still have to tilt my screen. And you can either have your arms or your hands just in front of your chest and your elbows are sort of free. Or if you want a bit more of a hip opener, you can put your upper arms or elbows on the inside of your legs and sort of pushing these knees apart just to get a bit more of a hip opening stretch, if that feels good for you. But again, always listen to what your body is telling you. Stay here for a few more breaths. Then gently release that position and come into a seated position with your legs nicely stretched out. Your spine is nice and upright, and you should feel your seat bones. That you're sitting on your seat bones now. It can help to just pull your bottom cheeks just backwards a little bit. Then you're really nicely on your seat bones. Lengthen your spine. Lengthen your neck just for a moment. And then we're putting the right leg over the left leg with your foot on the outer side of your left knee. So sort of cross-legged. Then your left arm hugs your right knee. So your elbow is on the outer side of the right knee. And your hand just ends up on your right hip. The right arm just goes behind you. And then you are breathing in nice and deeply. And every time you exhale, you try to twist your upper body just a little bit more. So you try to, it's not all in the neck, so it's not the goal to move your head even further towards the right shoulder. It's more like moving the upper body more to the right. It's not in the head, just be careful that you're not overturning your neck. And with every new inhale, you're rising up a bit more. And with the exhale, you try to get more into that little spinal twist. Try to keep your head always in the position that your nose and shin are in the same sort of alignment with your chest bone, so in the middle of your chest. Just making sure that you're not over twisting your neck. And then take another deep breath in, rising up through your spine. And with your exhale, you're releasing the position. You come back into the middle, unfold your legs, stretch out that right leg. And just take a moment and feel into this twist that you've just done. Then we're swapping side. So the left foot comes over the right leg and ends up on the outer side of the right knee. Your right arm comes all the way around, hugging that left knee, and your right hand ends up on your left hip, or almost on your left hip, depending how long your arms are. And that left arm just goes behind you so that you can sort of find some support on that arm. And then again, breathing in, rising within your spine. And with your exhale, you're just moving a bit further into the spinal twist to the left side. Again, not turning your head to get more twist. The twist happens in the upper body, not in the neck. Every new inhale, you're straightening your spine, and every exhale, you try to twist with your upper body a little bit further towards the left. Two more deep breaths. And then with your next exhale, you release the position, you come back into the middle, unfold your leg. Straighten out both legs. Just give yourself a moment. If you want to just round your back, just for a moment. And then bring your feet closer to you. Open up these knees. And let your knees just drop to the side. Just showing you, if you're struggling with that you feel that you have to hold these knees up in the air because it puts a lot of strain on your groin, then just have a big cushion or a folded blanket that you can just sort of put underneath, it's black, sorry, underneath that knee, so you can really let that knee rest on this cushion or folded blanket so that you don't have to build up tension against it, so it's not going down further. Hope that makes sense. Or you can use a pile of books as well if you want a bit more of a hard surface. Yoga blocks are really good for that, of course, but you don't have to buy a yoga block for that. Right. So then we're really nicely straightening up our spine. And just breathing into this nice hip opener. few more breaths. Let gravity just sort of support your knees, sinking down a little bit more towards the mat. Two more breaths, deep inhaling, lengthening the spine. And then just release, let go of your hands, fold your knees inwards, put your feet a little bit further away, and just curl up and hug your legs, rounding that spine just for a moment. And then come back into a seated position and prepare yourself for boat pose. Strengthening the core. Right. So come in an upright position, feel your seat bones on the mat, and then lean back. Keep your spine nice and long, keep your back straight. Lift up these feet, just place the feet and knees together. It's a bit nicer to hold them. And then stretch out your arms towards your legs. And either staying in this position in a static way, or you're stretching and bending your legs while you are in this boat pose, activating your core. You can explore both varieties. Sometimes the static one might be nicer, sometimes the dynamic one might be nicer. And just making sure you're not feeling any strain in your lower back. And with the next exhale, bring these feet back down, curling over, hugging your knees, rounding your back. And just feeling some relief. And then prepare yourself for another round of boat pose. So when you're ready, straighten your back, leaning backwards onto your bum, and then lifting up these legs, stretching out the arms, keeping your back long. Belly button can go inwards for more support. And breathe. Two more deep breaths. And with your next exhale, feet back down, leaning over your legs, hug them. And then we do a couple more stretches on the ground, but just grab everything that you need for your final relaxation, your pillow, your blanket, whatever is needed. And we're coming onto our backs, laying down. Keep your knees bent for a start. Just move your feet further apart and let your knees fall inwards. And just take a moment to ease into the mat. Find a bit of relaxation. Check in with yourself. And then just open up your knees again. And let's do just a few rounds of just tilting the pelvis to mobilizing the lower back. We're not heading up into bridge pose. We're just gently mobilizing this lower back. So when you're inhaling, you're tilting the pelvis. So your lower back comes closer to the mat. And with your exhale, you just let it go. So your pelvis drops back into neutral. Let's do that for just a few rounds. Two more times, tilting and just popping back. And then come to a still point again and bring your legs up in the air. Keep your feet close together. Straighten the legs as far as you can. And then pull the toes towards you. Get a nice stretch of your calves, maybe even on the back of your thighs again. The rest of your body just stays nicely relaxed on the ground. Your shoulders are relaxed, your arms are relaxed, and all of your back is relaxed too. So no funny arching. Neck stays long. And then with your next exhale, you're pointing the toes towards the ceiling, giving the front of your feet a nice stretch, holding that for a few breaths. And then again, release. And one more time, toes pointing down towards you. Staying here for a few breaths. And then toes pointing to the ceiling again. If you want to challenge your core muscles a bit, you can move your legs a bit further away from you. Then you will notice that you need to activate your core a bit more. Or if you're sick of core exercises, just put your legs a bit closer towards you. And now relax your toes, just bend your knees for a moment. Relax. You can hug your knees and curl up a little bit so your head is moving closer to your knees. And then one more time, bring your legs up in the air and then just do a circle with your legs to give your lower back a nice massage, but also activating your lymphatic flow in your legs by having them nice and up in the air. Just a few rounds in one direction. And then we're swapping direction and just moving these legs in a circle in the other direction. Start by making the circle quite small, and then you can explore if you can make it bigger, if there's any restrictions, or if it actually feels quite relaxing and freeing to make the circles a bit bigger. Again, just check in with your own body what you need today. And then slowly coming back to a still point. One more time, reaching out with the toes to the ceiling. And then pulling the toes towards you and relaxing. Bring these feet down onto the mat and then straighten out your legs and get all nice and comfortable for the final relaxation. Make any adjustments that you need. Get your pillow, your blanket. And then start by closing your eyes. Take a few conscious breaths just to signal your body that it's time to relax now, time to let go. Slowly ease even more into the mat. Back to your breathing. Feel free to place one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. And just absorb this nice wave of rising and dropping of belly and chest, or either way, depending if you do belly breathing or chest breathing. Notice the touch of your hand on your chest and belly. Every new inhale, you're absorbing fresh, new, positive energy. And with every exhale, you let go. Tension, pain, stress, anything that is not useful for you in this moment. And the more you relax, the deeper you ease into the mat. And the deeper you ease into the mat, the more you relax. And the further you're easing into this relaxation, you just let go more and more. You surrender to your breath. You just let your breath come and go all on its own. And you know you will be safe. And you know that your breath is doing the job for you. You don't have to pay any attention. You can just fully surrender in this moment of relaxation. And just lay here in peace, nice and secure on the ground, connected to your breath. Just enjoy this moment a little bit longer in stillness before I bring you back into the here and now. Just surrender and find peace. Slowly start to come back into the here, into the now. You're starting to become aware of the sounds around you, of my voice. You can feel the ground underneath you. You take a deep breath in, and then you start to wiggle your toes and fingers. Take another deep breath in and awaken a little bit more. Start to do your movements a bit bigger. Maybe swing your legs from side to side. Bend the knees. Maybe give yourself a good stretch with your arms, like in the morning when you're waking up from a good night's sleep. Take another deep breath in and be awake even more. And then open up your eyes. Move your body in a way that it feels good, in a way that helps you to wake up and come fully back into the here and now, feeling refreshed, but also relaxed and nicely mobilized and stretched. Take another deep breath in and come slowly into a seated position. Can either be a side seat or a cross-legged seat, or just a seat with your legs straightened out. And then just give yourself a moment to fully wake up before you're actually getting up into standing again. Take a few more conscious breaths. And then you will feel fully awake again, back in the here and now, ready to finish the day or start the day, depending what time you're watching this. Thank you very much for joining in again. I hope you enjoyed the session. And yeah, have a good time. Till next time. See ya.